Hi everyone on YouTube and all the NFL YouTube prognosticators and football fans everywhere. This is Andrew Warren, back here once again, giving you my thoughts about Week 9 and my picks for Week 10 for the 2025 NFL season. Check it out. Well, for my Week 9 record, it was even on the straight up, but against the spread and over and under was mediocre. I went 7-7 overall. So I'm 73, 45, and 1 overall in the year. But against the spread, I went 4-11. Well, 3-11, excuse me. And I'm like 50, let me see, 52, 63, and 4 overall in the year. And then over and under is the 0-3. 13, 18, and 1 overall in the year. We got some work to do on both sides of that. So let's just put it that way. But, but to say the least out of that, that was probably the two were pretty bad on that part. But overall, Baltimore and Miami, just Baltimore showed up to play. Lamar Jackson looks like he was back and better than ever. Cincinnati, Chicago, that was probably the game of the week for that one. That goes to show you that both defenses are really bad on both sides, on Cincinnati and Chicago. Detroit and Minnesota, that was a good division win from Minnesota. That was a good, solid one. But it was a really tight game. I thought it was really close, but hey, hold on. But the upset of the week was Carolina. But Carolina put it in strong against Green Bay. Green Bay couldn't hold it enough. Carolina got the win. But I'll give Bryce Young credit. He has been playing solid football. If I were Carolina, hold on to a little bit longer. I think he's going to be really a solid player coming in. Denver and Houston. Denver's coming in strong. That's all I can say that. San Francisco and the New York Giants. The New York Giants are just plain bad. Simple as that. Pittsburgh upsetting the Indianapolis Colts. What are the odds of that? My Patriots in Atlanta, that was probably one of the toughest games of the week. Drake London had a heck of a game. He played solid football, like 3 touchdown passes on there. And Paxton Jr. played a solid game too, but it was pretty tight. Drake didn't play the best game, but he got the job done when it mattered the most. Hey, good to show you on that one. But, of course, it wasn't for the missed field goal. I think my Patriots would have lost that game, or at least send it to overtime. Let's just put it that way. But Atlanta's key momentum right now, if they can fix their communication, if they can fix their communication skills, they could be contenders coming up. That's all I can tell you. They can probably need a coach right now. I think they got the talent. It's right there. They just need a coach. Yeah, who knows? All right, continuing on. The LA Chargers and the Tennessee Titans. That was probably my best pick of the week. I did the straight up and against the spread on both sides on that one. That was a pretty solid one on that one. Chargers came out with the win. Tennessee, what can you say on that one? Jacksonville and Las Vegas. That was a really good one as well. I would say that game and my Patriots in Atlanta were probably the most competitive games of the week on that one, I would say the least. Jacksonville just came out of nowhere. And they won at least by 1. With not 1, but 2 field goals that are like over 50 to 60 yards. I think they had the longest kick on the 68-yard field goal at the end of the half and the game winner. So, props to Jacksonville on that part. Buffalo and Kansas City. Buffalo hanged in there strong. What can you do on that one? Seattle and Washington. I'm going to say right now, I'm not going to accuse Washington for anything like that. But right now, they look like they're one of the biggest disappointments right now. But I think they're at the key momentum right now. Seattle with Washington, they're banged up. What can you do? And Dallas and Arizona. I had to say, that was a good win. Arizona's playing competitive. And then Jacoby Brissett just played strong. And now the Arizona Cardinals are going to stick with Jacoby Brissett, which I kind of don't agree with. I think Kyler Murray's a great quarterback, but my problem is, Jacoby Brissett's not your guy either. So, I would still stick with the young gun in Kyler Murray. I think he's a really solid quarterback. I think he just need a talented team around him. But defensively, Arizona's a strong defensive team. What can I tell you? But hey, that's my thoughts about Week 9. Let's go on to my Week 10 picks. Okay, let's kick things off on Thursday night with the Las Vegas Raiders and the Denver Broncos. That game is a AFC West Division matchup. So this could be a very interesting game to say the least. But the problem with Las Vegas is that they're not the best competitive team right now. So that's going to cause them a problem with that. They played well against Jacksonville, but when it comes to division teams, that you got to be aggressive at. So my case scenario, I think the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix are going to come out in this one. I think they could come out on the road on Thursday night to win. I like the Denver Broncos over the Las Vegas Raiders to win this game in Las Vegas. On the line, Denver's favored by 9 in this game. I'm going to take Denver -9. Over and under is 43.5. It's going to be I think it's going to be a little closer game, though. I'm going to go under 43.5 in this game. I think it's going to be like probably a 20-10 score or something like that. So, anyways, or at least I think maybe a 27-10 score, something like that. So, anyways, I'm going to go under 43.5 in this game. The Atlanta Falcons and the Indianapolis Colts in Berlin, Germany. So this game is in Berlin. This is a fun one for Germany. So I think this is going to be a really good one. I think this is going to be a fun game to watch. Like I said, Atlanta needs some communication skills to fix. That's probably going to be the key momentum. If they can get the communication skills down, they could solidly win. But to say the least, Indianapolis Colts is a strong football suit. I think they're going to be it's going to be a really too close of a game. But I think I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts as a designated home team over the Atlanta Falcons to win. On the line, I'll give Atlanta this. The Colts are favored by 5.5-point favorites in this game. The way Atlanta's been playing, I'm going to take Atlanta plus 5.5. Over and under is 48.5. I'm going to go 48.5 in this game. I'm going to probably a 30-10 score or something like that. So anyways, I'll go with that route. So I'm going to go under 48.5 in this game. The Chicago Bears and the Denver Broncos. Now, this game, this game is a very interesting game. Chicago offensively showed up, but they played a slacky defense in Cincinnati, which I think the New York Giants have a slacky defense as well. So I think this is why they're going to win out this game. So I'm going to take the Chicago Bears over the New York Giants to win this game. On the line, though, Chicago's favored by 3.5-point favorites in this game. I'm going to take Chicago -3.5. The Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. This is a classic AFC East matchup involving the Miami Dolphins. The reason why I say that, no matter the outcome for the Miami Dolphins, they always play competitive in the AFC East. It's been like that for so many years for the Miami Dolphins. They always get the last laugh in the second round. They always do. So that's a key momentum for Miami. So I think for Buffalo, usually, anyways, Miami plays on division games anyway, no matter what the outcome is. If it's the first game or the second game, it's always going to be competitive when the Miami Dolphins play an AFC East team. It's always have been. So, and I'm sure they're going to be like that when they play my Patriots again in Foxborough. So, anyways, continuing on for the Bills and Dolphins game, it's in Miami. So, it's going to be a really competitive game down there. But, Miami is the problem with Miami, there's a lot of problems going on in Miami right now. Just from the coaching, from the players, top on down. So, but never take away from the AFC East division games. That's going to be key. But, anyways, I'm going to take Buffalo to win in Miami because Buffalo is a solid football team. But they're going to be it's going to be a closer game though, so I'm going to take Buffalo over Miami in Miami. On the line, the Buffalo Bills are 9.5-point favorites in this game. If this was in Buffalo, I would have gone the other way with this, but It's in Miami. I'm going to take Miami plus 9.5 to win. The Minnesota Vikings and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this game, Lamar Jackson is coming back. He came back strong on week 7 against Miami. I think he played. I don't remember. I haven't paid attention to the game. I just saw a couple of highlights here and there, and that was it. But long story short, Baltimore is starting to be competitive again. That's going to be a problem from the AFC North. So that's going to be really a problem on that one. But Baltimore, nevertheless, Minnesota, they had a good solid win, but now they're going to play a little tougher game with Baltimore, and it's in Minnesota, which is a key factor for Minnesota. But to say the least, I like Baltimore to win this game, but I'm going to take Baltimore over Minnesota in Minnesota to win this game. On the line, Baltimore was winning by 4 in this game. That's a fair spread, because if this was a lot higher spread, I would have gone Minnesota the other direction with this one. But I'm going to take Baltimore minus 4 in this game, because I think there's going to be a lot closer game on that one. The New York Jets and the Cleveland Browns. I would have to give the New York Jets a lot of credit of the doubt. They played on the trade deadline with Awesome Sauce, which I really call him that. They traded him to Indianapolis. So I think for that one, and they got a couple of draft picks in return. They did pretty well. But to say the least out of that one, they're playing Cleveland right now. I gotta say, Cleveland defensively is a solid football team. Offensively, that's what they need to work on. It's like my Patriots last year. They had a very solid defense, but offensively, they were just terrible. Terrible offensively. But defensively, they are a solid team. And I think that's going to help out to beat the New York Jets on this one as an upset. So I'm going with the upset. I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns over the New York Jets in New York in this game. On the line, the New York Jets are favored by 2 in this game. I'm going to take Cleveland plus 2. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and my New England Patriots. Now, this game I'm so looking forward to. This is a really good competitive game. So, if my Patriots want to win a game, this game is it. So, it's in Tampa Bay. So, I think this is going to be a solid one. You got Baker Mayfield in there. The veteran quarterback competing with the sophomore quarterback and Drake May. This is going to be a solid one to look forward to. The only key factor in this one, no Mike Evans with a serious collarbone injury, which I believe he's out for the year, if I'm not mistaken, on that one. I'm not too positive on that one, but if Mike Evans was playing this game, I would have done the complete different picks in this one. But to say the least out of that one, my Patriots are a lot healthier on this one. That's going to be a key momentum on that one, which I think Lamarne Stevenson is going to come back come back after hamstring injury, which I think that's going to be another key factor. And if Stephon Diggs and LaDainian Tomlinson, especially LaDainian Tomlinson, not LaDainian Tomlinson, Lamondre Stevenson doesn't turn over the ball, they could solidly win. But I'm not really convinced on that because I trust Baker Mayfield. I think he's a solid quarterback. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay at home over my Patriots to win this game. But on the line, this is what I'm going to get my Patriots in this one. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 2.5-point favorites in this game. That game is so close that I'm actually going to pick my Patriots plus 2.5 because they could sneak up on Tampa Bay. They could. I'm not saying they will, but it's a possibility there's a chance because they're both are neck and neck in this one. Like two similar offenses, two similar defenses, pretty much. That's why I like Tampa Bay straight up, but take my Patriots plus 2.5. The New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers. Now for this team, I will say this one, excuse me. The New Orleans Saints are pretty much when Carolina's situation went on. That's all I'm going to say with that one. But to give credit to for Carolina, they've been playing. Bryce Young's been playing better football since the second half of last year. So, a year ago, the first half of the year from last season, Carolina was playing terrible. Now things are rolling in differently. Bryce Young's coming in, he's getting comfortable in the pocket, and he's coming in strong. So, if I'm Carolina, I would Still going with the Bryce Young in the quarterback. He's playing solid football. You can't take that away from him. So anyways, that being said, I will give New Orleans the credit of the doubt on this one. They could sneak up on this because it's a division game. But I'm going to take Carolina over New Orleans to win this one. On the line, Carolina is favored by 5.5-point favorites in this game. First time they were bit 5 or more, I believe, since 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken on that one. But anyways, that being said, though, I'm going to give New Orleans this, though. I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints plus 5.5 in this game. The Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, the way Jacksonville has been playing lately, I think they're going to come around to be a solid team to be watching around right now. But now, the way I look things, Indianapolis Colts and Jacksonville, and Houston coming around, that's going to be a tough division, to say the least. But anyways, that being said, Houston, not so much playing lately. They've been a little banged up. But that being said, though, the way Jacksonville played, especially last week against the Las Vegas Raiders, anything's possible. So I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars as an upset over Houston in this game at Houston. On the line, Houston's favored by 1.5-point favorites in this game. I'm taking Jacksonville plus 1.5. The Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals. Now, for this game, this is going to be a most interesting game to look forward to. Both games played prime time last week. Both of those teams. And they both won. Arizona played solid football against Dallas, but Dallas was like the worst defense in the league. But and the Washington Commanders are probably the most disappointing teams right now. Yeah, that's the way I'm seeing it right now. But it's in Seattle. This is going to be a very interesting game to look forward to. I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks over the Arizona Cardinals to win this game. But on the line, though, Seattle's favored by 7 in this game. Why not? Let's have some fun. I'm going to take Seattle minus 7.5. The San Francisco 49ers and the LA Rams. Now, this is a really, really fun game to look forward to for the Rams. The Rams know how to play division games well. That's going to be a key one. And the Rams are really competitive lately. As for San Francisco, I'll give Mac Jones credit. He's playing good football. But that team is just banged up on both sides of the ball, no matter who it is. So I'll give San Francisco credit of the doubt. They're playing well despite the injuries. But they're playing a very, very tough competitive LA Rams. And that's going to be a very key momentum on this one. So I'm going to go with the upset in this one because LA Rams are more healthier. So I'm going to take the Rams over the San Francisco 49ers in San Francisco to win this game. On the line, though, San Francisco's favored by 3.5-point favorites in this game. I'm going to take San Francisco plus 3.5. The Washington Commanders and the Detroit Lions. Now, I'm sure the Detroit Lions had this game marked off from a year ago during the division game in the playoffs last year at home, where the Washington Commanders completely upset the Detroit Lions at home just because of all the injuries they had. So now this game is swung by the other way. It's in Washington. I'm sure they had this game locked in there when they had that schedule in this past May, that they want to get some revenge on the Washington Commanders. And I think there's a chance of them doing that. To say the least, I've been saying the Washington Commanders are probably my most disappointing team right now. I thought they're going to be playing more competitive football than they are, but they're not. So, that being said alone, I like Detroit going into Washington and get a little piece of revenge from that playoff loss from a year ago. So I'm going to take the Detroit Lions over the Washington Commanders to win this game. On the line, though, Detroit's favored by 8.5-point favorites in this game. I'm going to take Detroit minus 8.5. And for Sunday Night Football, the LA Chargers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Both teams won last week. Excuse me. Hold on. Sorry about that. But anyways, both these teams won last week in competitive matchups. Like, Like Tennessee, they won in Tennessee. They barely won by a touchdown. Pittsburgh got a big win in a top division team, which is the Colts. So Pittsburgh's playing competitive football right now. So this game is gonna be so close that I'm gonna pick the upset in this one. So I'm gonna take the Pittsburgh Steelers going at LA to beat the Chargers in this game. So I'm gonna take the Pittsburgh Steelers over the LA Chargers to win. On the line, the Chargers are favored by 3.5 point favorites in this game. No, excuse me, 3 in this game. I'm sorry. Favored by 3 in this game. I'm going to take Pittsburgh plus 3. Over and under, it's 45.5. I think the way those two offenses have been playing, they can go over that. So I'm probably going to say I'm going to probably say at least a 27-20 score in this one. So I'm going to say over 45.5 in this game. And for Monday Night Football, the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, this game is going to be really fun to watch. You know, despite Philadelphia have been playing lately, Green Bay, they had a stunning upset in this one, that's the problem with this Green Bay. Green Bay don't know how to play bad teams right now, but they know how to play competitive on other sides. But sometimes that could shoot you right in the foot in that one. And that's what I think is going to happen with Green Bay in this one. So I'm going to grab the upset in this one too. So I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles over the Green Bay Packers to win this game in Green Bay. On the line though, Green Bay's favored by 2.5 point favorites in this game. I'm going to take Philadelphia plus 2.5. Over and under, it's 44.5. You know, and I'm going to say, I'm going to definitely take the over 44.5 in this one. And I could say they're probably going to go over that with those two offenses I'm going to be going right now. With Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, I think they can put up some numbers. So give me like a good 30-20 score or something like that. So I'm going to go over 44.5 in this game. Okay, a couple of shout-outs this week. First off, check out Martin Wong. Check him out. He's a really good prognosticator. He always keeps in touch with everybody. So give him some love for Martin Wong, and check out Justin's Bridewatersfinest on YouTube, Blockbuster_guy on Twitter, because we're facing each other in fantasy this week, and I'm having a rematch in this one. So the way this one goes, like we talked about, I believe it was week 4 we faced off when we last did. If I win, he gets me a shout out on a CFL pick show. If he wins, I have to wear my I Love Breakfast t-shirt for next week. So we're gonna do a rematch on that one. So keep your eyes up on Twitter on that one, how we're going to be doing this. And while you're at it, while you're checking those two out, check out these Dr. Squatch products. From Coconut Castaway, the Dio, and the brick itself. They're both really solid. They're one of my personal favorites on the line. The other one is when Carver showed up last week in his Halloween special too, which was the Birchwood Breeze. Those are my two favorites. These two are my go-tos for the summer. And the Birchwood Breeze that he showed last week. Those are my two solid ones for the winter. But while you're at it, in the meantime, check out Coconut Castaway right now. They're a really good solid one. They're one of my two personal favorites along with Birchwood Breeze. Until then, this is Andrew Warren saying, rock out and eat your breakfast.